What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode in the FIFA 17 career mode. This is episode number 12, and we start today's episode off by finding out that the January transfer window has now opened, which is fantastic. January is here, the transfer window opens once again, and we can sign and sell some players. As you take a look at the squad report right now, the stats and the attributes of the players too. I should say the attributes and the stats. You always see the attributes and now the stats as well. And the question for you guys to start today's episode off straight away, now the January transfer window has opened, what players should we look to buy in the January transfer window? You'll see our budget in just a moment's time. It's around £11 million, so we got a bit of cash to work with. We might sell on one or two players as well that aren't getting much first team football at the moment, so let's just round up to about 12 to 13 million pounds in total. What players should we look to buy in the January transfer window? Let me know in the comment section down below if you have any suggestions for me whatsoever, or maybe we should just keep the squad as it is right now, because as you'll see by the league table in just a moment's time, we are of course still in the top 4, 19 games in, so exactly halfway through the season right now, and we are in a Champions League spot. It's been a dream start to the season, but I must say the table right now, as you can see, very congested. As you can see, second place Liverpool have 33 points, 10th place Everton have 27, so 6 points separating 2nd and 10th right now. It's very congested indeed, so I'm not entirely sure we can hold on to a top 3 place, let alone top 4 place come the end of the year, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I am encouraged by our start though. It has been very decent indeed, and hopefully it does continue. Still following that though, as you can see, we had a bit for Stuart Downing here, and also I should say, just before we move on, I forgot to say it's Saturday today, so if you guys want to see another episode of career mode later on tonight, get this video to 1500 likes and I'll upload another episode later on tonight. I love doing double episode upload days, don't know why, but 1500 likes and I'll give you another career mode episode later on tonight. But anyway, following that, moving on, Stuart Downing had a couple of bids here, one from ADO Den Haag, or ADO Den Haag, the Dutch side, and also one from Red Bull Leipzig as well, the German club. We asked both of those sides for £5.2 million, which is double his valuation. He's 74 overall, 32 years old, currently joint top in the assist charts at the moment in the Premier League this season. He has been dropped to the bench though, as our 17-year-old scout future star Menendez is starting alongside Victor Fischer, who's on the left-hand side. And of course, Adama is currently injured right now, so when he comes back, a decreasing in stats, Stuart Downing, who started off at 75 overall, now gone down one rating to 74, might not even get back on the bench. So even though Downing, of course, was born in Middlesbrough, he was brought up in Middlesbrough, of course, played for the academy before signing a pro deal, of course, went to numerous clubs after he left Borough, but now, of course, came back to the Riverside Stadium. It would be kind of nice to keep him here until his contract runs down, but as there are bids for him, we're not using him right now. He's not in the first 11, I should say, on a regular basis. It might be a time to let Stuart Downing leave once again, for the second time to leave Borough once again, and look to buy a younger replacement. Still, we take on Leicester for the first game of today's episode here, as the Premier League champions will kick off the second half of the season here at the Riverside Stadium, and the worst possible start as well. Gaston Ramirez, who scored a screamer in the last episode against United, tried his luck from range in the first 5 minutes. He hit the post, and then in the 27th minute, Slimani gave the travelling side the lead by out-jumping Espinoza and making it 1-0 to Leicester. I thought Espinoza could have done better with that situation though, and then 10 minutes later I will be saying the exact same thing, because Slimani scored the first goal and set up the second one as he played it through to his strike partner Okazaki, and the Japanese striker turned Espinoza inside out and rifled the ball into the bottom corner to give Victor Valdez no chance whatsoever. And check it out on the replay as well with Espinoza. He does well to catch up with Okazaki and then just watches him dance round him, almost fell over there, stuttering when turning around for a second time. And before he knew it, the Japanese striker put one in the bottom corner and it was 2-0 to the away side. So I'll take the blame for the second one, but the first one I thought my position was fantastic with Espinoza and I timed the circle button for the headed clearance perfectly. Evidently not. So Borough 0, Leicester 2, and this is a far cry from the Leicester side we saw in the reverse fixture at the King Power Stadium, where we brushed them aside by a goal to nil. In this game, they were playing like they were Premier League champions, because they are Premier League champions. They were finally showing it too, as they led by 2 at the break. In the second half, Ramirez did have a good chance to half the deficit. Menendez played him through with a nice little flare pass, but the Uruguayan could not hit the target, and it was still 2-0. And with just over 11 minutes to go, one final chance for us to possibly get back in this game, half the deficit, and give us one final chance to claim at least a point in this game. Victor Fischer was played through by Menendez. He went through himself to shoot, shoot and found the back of the net as well. The Dane grabs his first goal in a Middlesbrough shirt. Lovely little hold up by Menendez and a great through ball as well to get his second assist of the season, I think it is. As Fisher finds the top corner there and makes it 2-1. So we are back in the game. We halved the deficit, but sadly with 10 minutes to go, it just wasn't to be. We couldn't carve out any more chances, and Leicester held on for the 3 points and would end our undefeated streak there. Well, only 2 games, but either way. Final score, Middlesbrough 1, Leicester 2, and the away side do get the win. And without question, they deserved it as well. No doubt about it whatsoever. I said a couple of times this season where we've lost, I've came out after the game and said we deserved a point from that game, but in this one, now we didn't do enough, and Leicester showed again why they are champions. And it was so funny as well, because at the King Power Stadium, we brushed them aside with no problem whatsoever. So as they came to the Riverside Stadium, I was thinking, well, you know, possibly same performance, same result maybe. Evidently not. We got torn apart in this game by the strike duo of Slimani and Shinji Okazaki, and Leicester City got themselves a thoroughly deserving 3 points. So a bad game for me in that one. I played pretty poorly, especially defensively as well, and we didn't deserve anything from that game. So Leicester get the win by 2-1. It's the worst possible start as well to the second half of the season. Still following that game, as you could see, another bid for Stuart Downing, this time Nacional coming in. We asked for £5.2 million though, and we shall wait and see what they say. And also, Nsue is going to lead the club as well, and he's going to go to Bournemouth. Found this kind of funny as well, because in yesterday's episode, you would have seen, towards the end of December, Nsue came to us and said he was happy to stay, and then 3 days into the transfer window, he's agreed a pre-contract with Bournemouth. I don't mind though, we're not using him. I would have liked to have sold him to get him off the wage bill straight away and get a bit of scratch for him as well, but anyway, I don't mind too much. He's going to Bournemouth to join Dimmy, and that's totally fine for me. Still following that, yet another bid for good old Stuart Downing. Everyone's going in for Stewie right now. What's going on? Toulouse put in a bid, and once again, we say to the French club, the benchmark is £5.2 million. Meet it or get out. Well, Red Bull Leipzig have met it, and it looks like Downing could be on his way to Germany. So Leipzig do meet the £5.2 million, and again, unless the other clubs can meet that, then he's not going to go anywhere else but Red Bull Leipzig, or if he wants to stay here, that's totally fine as well. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But Nacional did come back regarding Downing as well, putting a £3.1 million offer, as you saw a bid here for Stuani from Nottingham Forest, which we just go ahead and accept at £1.5 million. It's 100 grand less than his valuation, but he's not in our first team right now. He's 30 years old, 72 overall, and I don't have too many plans for him in our long-term future. And also, as you see there, confirmation, Nacional put a bit of £3.1 million for Downing. Didn't want to go to £5.2 million, but I said, listen, Red Bull Leipzig are meeting it, so you got to do the same as well. So we'll wait and see. I doubt they'll come back though. Usually when a club barters with you and won't meet your counter offer, they probably won't go to that max amount. They might do if you ask again, but it probably won't happen. And as you can see, one club certainly won't be getting him, and that is ADO Den Haag, or ADO Den Haag, not sure how you pronounce that, as the Dutch club do pull out of negotiations. And once again, to Toulouse, we say £5.2 million or forget about it. But still, if we are going to lose Stuart Downing, I wouldn't mind a new playmaker. Obviously, we have Ramirez, who is our first choice, and of course we have Kamada as well, the Japanese player we signed in the summer transfer window. Don't forget about him, but I wouldn't mind someone a little bit better, and also another English player as well. And of course, we went in for this guy in the summer, didn't get hold of him in the end, went for Kamada instead, but I haven't forgot about him. Josh Onoma from Spurs, 19 years old, valued at £3.2 million. Pretty decent stats, and I'm sure some good potential as well. We put in another bid for Onoma from Spurs, and we shall wait and see what Pochettino says. But for the second and final game of today's episode here, Stuart Downing would lead Middlesbrough out, as I made him captain for this game, as we will take on Port Vale in the FA Cup third round away from home. So I rested the entire side for this game, as you would probably expect, as we will take on League One opposition and hopefully make it through to the next round, as Downing will get a good send-off in his final, or surely final, appearance for the club. And what a start as well, because just 3 minutes in, we would open the scoring through Desart and make it Port Vale 0, Middlesbrough 1. Coming into this game, resting the entire side, you know, taking on lower league opposition, I was really fancying my chances, but I didn't expect us to score the first attack and the first shot on goal. We won the ball back from Port Vale inside our own half, quickly moved it forward, and their defence was just all over the shop. They were nowhere to be found, and once we rolled the ball through towards Desart, I felt for sure he was going to score. Look at the amount of men we had coming forward here down the left-hand side, and Desart was free in the area, and he was not going to miss. So good finish there, as I missed up by pressing X a little bit too late, as Desart scores, I believe, his second or possibly third goal of the season, as he scores the first goal in the FA Cup for us in this series. So 1-0 to Middlesbrough, and 1-0 to become 2-0 as well, 20 minutes after we scored the opening goal of the game. Saido Berahino will get his first goal in quite a few appearances, as he will make it Port Vale 0 and Middlesbrough 2, and then pull out the prancing bird celebration, which just looks absolutely ridiculous. I really need to learn celebrations, don't I? But Rhodes was tackled there inside the area. It fell to my man at the far post, Stuani, though. Rolled it across towards side of Berahino. First time strike, so much shot power, and the goalkeeper had no chance. So 2-0 to Middlesbrough, and right from the first whistle, we are in control in this game, as you would expect. We may have made 11 changes, but we're still a stronger side than Port Vale, even with a backup side. Stuani's header there probably should have made the score 3-0. He had a free header about 8 yards out, but I could not hit the target, and it was still 2-0. But just 2 minutes after the restart, though, yet another chance for Borough. Down the right-hand side, finds Stuani, whips it across in the centre. He finds Jordan Rose, but our number 9's header cannons off the crossbar, and eventually Port Vale scrambled the ball clear. So still 2-0 to Borough, but right from the first whistle in the second half, like in the first half, we are in complete control. And just past the hour mark as Tammy Abraham rolls the ball through towards Stuart Downing. Well, it was written in the stars, wasn't it? Stuart Downing was played through by our striker off the bench, and we'll get to celebrate a Middlesbrough goal for surely the final time in his career. He took it round the last man there and levered it into the back of the net with that wonderful left foot he's got, and finds the goal to make it 3-0 to Middlesbrough. Surely secure our place into the next round of the FA Cup and score on his final appearance in a Middlesbrough shirt. I gave him the captain's armband. It was like throughout the entire game I was thinking to myself, right, I want to win, obviously need to score more goals, that's for sure, but if I get one chance for Downing, got to make sure I take it regardless of the scoreline. So we were probably going through regardless, but when I had the ball with Downing there, I was like, got to score, and I would, and make it 3-0. I'd score some more as well, because with 12 minutes to go, we would make it 4-0. Stuani would get his first goal of the season. Sprinted down left-hand side and crossed the ball into the centre, and as you can see, his shot found the back of the net as well. Goalkeeper got a touch in it, but could not keep it out, as our number 18 does record his first goal of the season to make it 4-0 to Middlesbrough. And for Port Vale in this game, they did have quite a few shots in the game as well. Most weren't exactly meaningful though, but one was with 10 minutes to go. Patterson turns his man there with the shielding OP, levers the ball into the bottom corner, and ruins Brad Guzan's clean sheet. So Port Vale 1, Middlesbrough 4. They would get themselves a consolation goal, and again, it was going to be nothing other than that, as the number 13 hammered home from just outside the area. But I find it kind of funny though, whilst they were celebrating the Port Vale players, for some reason, Julian Dessart, as you'll see in just a moment's time, decides to wander over there. Why? They're by the corner flag, they're celebrating with the home fans. What's Dessart doing? Waddling over there like a penguin and getting involved amongst the celebrations. I had no idea what that was about at all. But anyway, it was 4-1. Port Vale scored the goal. It's just going to be a consolation goal and nothing other than that, obviously, as Patterson would make it 4-1 and at least reduce the deficit in some way. But in stoppage time, we won ourselves a free kick just inside the Port Vale half. Callum Chambers floated into the centre, and there was Tammy Abraham to get on the end of it and make it Port Vale 1, Middlesbrough 5. So Abraham comes off the bench, secures the points, gets himself an assist and a goal as well. Not a bad performance in the final 30 minutes since coming on as a sub, and that was a brilliant header as well by the 6'3" man. He's obviously going to be an aerial presence with that height as well, so I thought I'd float the ball in, just look for him, found him as well, and he found the back of the net. So 5-1 to Middlesbrough, a comprehensive win. I thought we'd go through before the game, obviously, despite making 11 changes. I didn't think we'd need any kind of first 11 players out there. I thought we'd be fine, and we were as well. And to see Stuart Downing score on what will almost certainly be his final appearance as well, that was also always nice to see, because I thought to myself, again, going into that game, I've given him the captain's armband, I've got to make sure he gets at least one chance, and if he gets it, I've got to take it as well. He bobbed and weaved, got round the last defender after Abraham played him through, and a brilliant finish. It was a little bit of hit and hope, don't get me wrong, just power down the circle button, thought go across the goalkeeper and hope for the best, but either way, a nice little finish there, and Stuart Downing does score and celebrate, surely, for the final time as a Middlesbrough player. But that will end today's episode though in the FIFA 17 career mode, guys, so a big thank you for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please do leave a like. Don't forget, 1500 likes and I'll upload another episode of career mode later on tonight. So there's your challenge, 1500 likes, and I'll see you for the next episode of career mode later on tonight.